Hello and welcome back to Fate Grand Order. I'm Niche and this is just a separate recording to cover the Ordeal Call Prologue, so no avatar here tonight. Let's dive right in right away. Last time we defeated Lost Belt 7 and through a pretty huge ordeal, so what could another ordeal possibly be? We are back at the Bleached Earth after completing the 7th and final Lost Belt. Now our job is to go to back to Chaldea, where it all began. We're approaching the Antarctic Circle. This message no longer predicts no danger today. That means we can relax and not worry about the enemy interference, at least until we reach Chaldea base. Still, at least to remain alert and as we prepare for arrival. I can't believe we're finally going back to our home base. First, there's something I'd like to say. This is a separate matter from Chaldea, which we now know to be a foreign planet. My analysis of Test Subject E is complete. Would you like to hear my report, Captain Gordolf? Yeah, it was hinted before, but yeah, the Test Subject E from Area 51 was indeed the foreign god this whole time. Name Olga confirmed it. Alright, we still have that issue to deal with well. Frankly, I'm past my limit for crazy revelations, but hearing you out certainly won't help. Not hearing you out certainly won't help matters. Very well, give your report. Go on with it then. Then I'll begin with the data I was able to analyze. I can now confirm the mysterious laboratory our field agents infiltrated was in fact a research facility that also existed within our world. As many know, there's a facility in Nevada's Area 51 dedicated to the clandestine study of UFOs and extraterrestrials. While our field agents were not able to verify the exact equipment used at the facility during their visit, Trismegistus 2 was able to use the data Mash's Ortonax recorded to confirm the facility was indeed a 99% match for Area 51. This means Test Subject E was being kept at a facility from proper human history. Yeah, that tracks. That place might have been in the middle of a huge singularity, but it was too out of place as a building. It makes sense the singularity spawned from that operating room. Yeah, I agree. It also ties into our theory as to who the master behind the singularity was. That is the one who summoned the whole mess of servants. The way I see it, that room was the only part of that singularity that belonged to proper human history. Or at least belonged to a celestial body that was as close as it possibly could. I might even go as far as to theorize the facility itself was located in Chaldeus' Nevada specifically. Oh, you think that was inside of Chaldeus? Then is that why the corridor looked like it was in outer space, because we were actually traveling between planets? That's my guess, yeah. Displacement magecraft is absolutely a thing, after all. For example, let's say we have two Gordies here, Gordie A and Gordie B. Assuming they have the exact same composition and volume of data, displacement magecraft will let us swap them out instantly, no matter how far apart they may be. And the reason for that is, of course, because they are completely indistinguishable to a third party. Only the Gordies being displaced would know they'd even been swapped. Heck, in some circumstances, even they might be none the wiser. When something supernatural occurs without having a noticeable impact on the world, that's when you know magecraft has done its job really well. Indeed, this particular kind of magecraft is theoretically possible, but it's exponentially more difficult on a larger target. If memory serves, I believe I heard an old mage family unaffiliated with Clock Tower was studying it. Also, please don't use me as an example from now on. The idea of waking up in it one day and having A or B append to my name is the sort of thing that keeps me up at night. Displacement, swapping out. Could that have been bleached Earth in an instant? Oh, you think Chaldeus' surface and Earth's surface were swapped out? Chaldeus is obviously much smaller than Earth, but since it contains a copy of the Earth's soul, that does essentially make it identical. Since Chaldeus' volume and soul composition is the same, the surfaces could be swapped regardless of different size. Interesting, so that means we could actually restore Earth just by swapping them back. Honestly, I was always more puzzled how Earth was bleached than how it looked after the fact. I mean, it's just not possible to instantly destroy a civilization on a planet's surface without harming the planet itself. Yeah, even when Godia incinerated humanity, well, it did harm the Earth itself as a whole. That's why we had to use the timeline shenanigans to fix it. So you're saying if they were just swapping out the planet's surface with one that was already bleached, that would be a different story? Right, which would also mean that our world, the original Earth, is still safe and sound in Chaldeus. So if we restore Chaldeus and Earth's relationship to the way it was, then your future will continue the path it was meant to. Well, that's a lot easier. Sounds easier to fix than it was going to be before. I thought we might have to do something. Well, I guess this is still convoluted, isn't it? So everything can go back to the way it was, huh? Human history can pick up where it left off, and Earth was wiped clean. But hang on, Chaldeus is supposed to be simulating Earth 100 years from now. And that would mean the lab we saw is from 2119, but then everything about that lab, including the technology, is identical to what we'd see. So you're saying it's too old to be from 2119, correct? I found that strange as well. I determined rather quickly it was on Caldeus, but it certainly did not look like anything cutting edge from 2119. Yet the data we have on test subject E clearly shows it died a few days ago. Since the place it occupied was in Chaldea, that would mean it died in the year 2119. The level of tech there is the same as 2019. I was for a time concerned I would not be able to explain the discrepancy. What if they just weren't able to equipment there? Precisely, difficult as it might be to believe, because one wonders why something so ridiculous could happen, that is what did happen. I think it might be a better case of if we eliminate the impossible, then what left has to be true, even if it seems weird. But yeah, it could be the facility was just straight up abandoned and the test subject left there. Seems odd, but then again, it was apparently already a corpse by the time we met it. Given the gap 100 years, the only sensible explanation is the equipment could not be updated. Huh? Is that even possible? Most likely, this is owed to the extenuating circumstance of some kind. For example, they might have had a budget or personnel shortfalls. In proper human history, Area 51's secret facility was shut down around 2001, and the research budget was drastically reduced. So the most likely explanation is the same facility on Caldeus ran into the same kind of trouble. Well, it's definitely one possibility. Securing an adequate budget is one of the biggest, most important issues facing research efforts. There's one big difference between the lab on Earth and Caldeus, test subject E. The fact an alien existed in the life form in Caldeus means Caldeus' version must have achieved something proper human history did not, in which case I expect there to be plenty of funds available for the lab in the national budget. Which means there must have been some sort of trouble that need not detain us at the moment, so let's move on. Well, I guess if there was a disaster there or something, and like if it psychically attacked people there, they'd probably shut it down and seal it away or something. The corpse you found in the operating room had the exact same biological composition as us. Despite this, it did not recognize the corpse as a human from Earth. No, it's not that it did not, it could not. Even with the same data values, there's something different about it. And because of that error in logic, it was unable to come to a final conclusion about test subject E. Instead, it just got stuck on a phrase wherein it labeled the object as human. Since I set the conclusion aside and focused exclusively on analyzing the situation, a great deal of information became clear very quickly. Data point 1. Test subject E is a human from a version of Earth and Caldeus. Data point 2. If the bleached Earth is actually Caldeus' service, then Caldeus' humans all died out. Data point 3. The equipment used in the lab were antiques. And all the technology developed between 2019 and 2119 is not functional anymore. This can be assumed to be remnants of buildings that exist. This can be assumed from the remnants of buildings that still exist on the bleached Earth. Any machinery that could operate on such a world would have to be at least 100 years old. Simple combustion engines like those used in motorcycles would likely still function at least. So those are the facts I was able to ascertain from test subject E. If we took those in consideration, asking why test subject E became a master, why they summoned so many servants, why they spawned a huge singularity, everything points to revenge. The Caldeus Earth was bleached. We may not know how it happened, but we can figure out why. Caldeus' Earth was bleached so its surface could be swapped out with our Earth's. Test subject E knew that. That's why it gave those servants those urges. They want to take revenge on proper human history for destroying their world. Subject E was aware they were the last member of Caldeus' humankind. That made them the sole representative of Caldeus' human life. In fact, that's the only explanation for how they were able to summon that many servants. Otherwise, there's just no way one person could summon so many. It must have been the collective will of every human who died on Caldeus that made summoning servants in such numbers possible. That also explains why they had so many command spells. They must have all been collected command spells from every human in Caldeus with master potential, and that would mean that corpse was... oh, a nameless regular person who found themselves responsible for the future of mankind, just like you, Master. Huh, but that would mean... if you're seeing this file, you've also acquired information on test subject E. While it should be your job to analyze what it is, I've decided to be generous and make things a little easier for you. Test subject E is not a terrestrial being. It's the remnants of humanity secreted away, probed, and experimented on that facility for 100 years. I believe its cries of agony are what drew the foreign god, its compatriot, here. Wait, hold on a damn minute. I feel bad for what happened to Caldeus Earth, but there's nothing we could have done about it. We have nothing to feel actual guilt for here, though. More importantly, I'd like to get the timeline straight. According to the report, when Master first came to Chaldea in 2017, Caldeus was already at the point where the future of mankind could not be observed. So is that when it was first bleached? No, it wasn't. The life civilization died out here because of Singularity F. But other than that, Caldeus' surface was the same as Earth. It was Sheba that said it couldn't preserve human history. Other than that, Caldeus' surface was the same as Earth. It was Sheba that said it couldn't preserve human history or observe it beyond 2018. We could all vouch for that. And honestly, given what happened in the incineration of humanity and the bleached Earth phenomenon, it makes sense Sheba would come to that conclusion. So Caldeus' Earth must have been bleached sometime after the incineration of humanity was reserved, though that would also mean Caldeus was deceiving us in 2019, back when we were undergoing special processing. So Caldeus was operating normally during the race shift experiment in 2017. Or I suppose it had yet to reveal its true villainous nature, which means it didn't foresee Solomon's incineration of humanity. In fact, if it hadn't been for that, this plan would probably have been put into action at the end of 2018. It's certainly safe to say that Solomon, well, Godia's machinations threw up the Marsberry event schedule. So perhaps if not for Singularity F, the surfaces of Earth might have swatched places sooner? Good point. The explosion in the command room definitely was not part of Director Marsberry's plan, so what happened afterwards another part of what led to our present very strange circumstances. Yeah, we already know that Godia pulled out its plan because it saw the end of the world and felt pity and decided that he should be replaced with his own better one, presumably with blackjack and hookers. Or, I guess, more blackjack and hookers since humanity already has both. Something must have gone awry when Lev dropped Olga Marie into Caldeus. That is all the information I can tell you about Test Subject E. Fortunately, this analysis revealed at least 80% of Caldeus' intended purpose. We now know it was always meant to swap its Earth, that is, its human history for ours, and that it was the intention of Caldeus' creator that this happen. Of course, this leads us to the next problem we need to consider. Why would he do something like this? Yeah, what hope could he possibly gain from bleaching Earth? I completely agree. Neither I nor Trismegistus were able to arrive at an answer to this query. Godia wanted to create undying life and planet without death. Kirstia wanted to evolve all of humankind. Daybit said he wanted to destroy Caldeus to salvage humanity's reputation, even if it meant destroying Earth with it. I may not agree with their reasons, but I can at least understand them. But bleaching Earth, that I cannot understand. I cannot see what that ultimate goal would be. Maybe he was fed up with humanity and wanted to cleanse Earth by getting rid of it? No, Marsberry wasn't that kind of person. He wasn't nihilist or pessimist. He was a good mage who loved seeing humans prosper, wanted to push our collective knowledge further. I bet, if he wasn't a genuinely good guy, King Solomon would never have answered his summons during the Fuki Grail War. Right. The King Solomon during the first Grand Order, the Singularity storyline, that was Godia's hijacking the poor guy's body. The true King Solomon was Dr. Romani, who was with us the entire time. He would never have agreed to something like this. We know that because we know him. So it's safe to say Marsberry was definitely a good mage. The problem is there's quite a few shades of good. Whatever Marsberry's goal was, it must have been something extreme enough we'd never think of it. Much like Daybit's. Yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, we're talking about a clock tower lord. There's no telling how much of his vision prospering differed from ours. Yeah, so right now all we figured out is Caldea's current condition and the fact that our Earth is safe. We should all find out the answers once we get to Antarctica. How much further, Nemo? When he should act. We're about to enter the Arctic Circle now. I'm not sensing obstruction, so we should reach Caldea's base in... What? Uh-oh. Wall dead ahead, full reverse, hard to port. All hands brace for impact. What just happened? Sheba did not even warn us. I detected no hostile signal or gravitational field. And you're being repelled. What kind of air pressure could possibly keep the storm porter away? Damn it, I should have known it wouldn't be that simple. Nothing in this game is ever that simple. Is it the foreign god? Caldeus itself? What's going on, Technical Advisor? I don't know. There's nothing unusual in Antarctica. The bear has sprung up on its own. No, it didn't, everyone. I think this is a wall of humanity. A what? Maybe I should have used the avatar because I need the shocked expression for this. I recognize this defense. It's the same powers. The force that powers Sir Galahad's noble phantasm, the Lord Camelot. That means the preservation of humanity itself is protecting the Antarctic. Why? That seems like the opposite of what would help us. Is it going to turn out Marsberry was actually the good guy all along and we were evil? By doing this? I've done a lap around the Antarctic and that wall surrounds the entire region. We can't get past it with the Storm Border's dimension-piercing drill, nor the Shadow Border's zero sail. I don't know why, but all our attempts are being repelled. Nothing works. I've never seen a wall like this before. Because it's entirely formless, we have no way to break through. Even every special navigational technique we've tried has failed. I don't know how it works or why it's doing this. Unbelievable, destination's right in front of us and we can't even get near it. Technical advisor. Eldnam, is there anything we can do? Isn't there anything we can do? Surely you've at least analyzed it by now, right? I'm sorry, but I'm completely bewildered. What is this, some kind of prank? Right? This props up whenever we approach and disappears when we move away. It's completely denying us the way to go through, but it's also barely damaging the ship. I can't figure out what's powering it. I think I prefer the storm walls. If it's just like Lord Camelot, then of course this was going to happen. Now that 7 Lost Belts are gone, Chaldea has become the foundation of human history, the celestial sphere for the preservation of humanity. That wall isn't to keep Chaldea safe, it's a checkpoint to keep foreign elements out. The Antarctic is not what's keeping you out. Proper human history itself is rejecting you. That voice. It's him. There's only one person. Romani! Marine, try to record what he's saying. Roger, pointing camera his way, now! It's the fake Romani. Yeah, there's only one person left that we haven't met. That we've met, anyways. There's one we haven't met yet, but we're not going to run into them yet, I don't think. This is the domain of proper human history. None of you can enter it as you are now. I'll admit, even I didn't foresee this outcome. Ooh, and it's got the Lost Bolt Grand Battle theme. Over the course of this war, you've handled far too many things that simply do not exist in proper human history. Rulers, alter egos, all manner of servants that don't belong in the 7 classes. Hey, rulers are 100% part of the main human history. We have Apocrypha as proof. Avengers 2, well, technically no. Avengers were hijacked by the family that created the Grail summoning system. They're basically a jury-rigged one. And after you spend so much time abusing these classes that should not exist, human history regards you all as foreign elements. Until you correct this imbalance, you'll never be able to step foot near Chaldeus. You cannot take those things. No, that's not right. You cannot take those servants with you into time beyond 2019. Not with your current understanding. Master, the gears within you no longer mesh. Why do these classes exist when, by rights, they shouldn't? What places do these weapons have in human history? Once you understand and accept those answers, you'll be foreign elements no longer. Turn your ship around, Novum Chaldea. There are places you can correct these imbalances and atone for the sins you've unknowingly committed. That is the duty you must fulfill now. Your Ordeal Call. Title drop. Once you've settled 3 imbalances, Celestial Sphere will see the light of day. Yeah. Wonder why he corrected himself. You're sure to face partings as you walk this path, but be certain you're prepared for this. Well, he does specifically list 3 here, but there's a 4th one. The thing is, we have more than even that. We have more extra classes than even that. Rulers, alter egos, and Avengers. Thing is, we also have Foreigners, Moon Cancers, and Pretenders. That's 6, but he only lists 4 at tops. So, let's see here. Trismegius has arrived at a conclusion. It looks like the mysterious figure was telling the truth. The barrier around Antarctica is a self-purification and mechanism, and we are the reason it's being created. As much as it pains me to say, that seems humanity currently sees us as criminals. Apparently, we ourselves are the ones preventing us from setting foot in the pure land of Antarctica. I knew it. This wasn't an attack. It's an alarm. Extra classes aren't meant for humans to handle. Well, I guess true. Even in Apocrypha, the ruler class was summoned by the Grail itself to ensure that the humans and servants followed the rules. It was not summoned by a person. Except for one, but that's a different case. Extra classes are typically too much for humans to handle. Well, and given all the servants from extra classes we've been using, of course humanity would reject us. Alright, so basically what I'm getting here is the Earth stopped us dead here and said, hold up, buddy, you got a license for those extra classes? I guess we've done the equivalent of using weapons banned by international law like they were going out of style. Well, unless you didn't pull the gotcha for very many, but who would do that? Actually, we've had a decent amount of welfares of extra classes by this point. I mean, I was using Pretender Ellie quite a bit during Lost Belt 7 simply because there were so many night classes and foreigners. We can't deny we're guilty. Sorry, probably not the best example I could have picked. It's okay, I understand, thank you. Still, facts are facts. If Chaldea was made with ill intentions, even secretly, then of course someone will have to be held account for the experiments. I accept that, and I'll let my own deeds demonstrate the right or wrongness of my creation. Even if creating me was wrong, there's so many futures for us to choose from. Yeah, at this point, it's starting to feel like MASH was created for something not on the up and up, but the good news is she can choose to not do Marsberry's evil plan. Well, I'm sorry, quote-unquote good plan. Like with Shadow the Hedgehog, you can, even if the creators, even the ones that forced Gerald Robotnik created him, wanted him to make a weapon to fight, he can at least make it so the weapon can choose not to fight. Fortunately, I was lucky enough to receive the power to protect. What do you have to say about me? I know this power isn't wrong. It's not evil. So you knew all along, MASH? Well said, Carlite. But should anyone ever learn of this incident, it's clear you will all face serious consequences. If there's anything I can do, anything to ensure these fools be rewarded instead of punished. It's true, Directors Marsberry Caldea is evil, but it's unequivocally true equally true that what came from it is good. The accident that happened during 2017 Ray Shift experiment, along with everything that came afterward, puts an end to Director Marsberry's Caldea forever. Not just physically, but in spirit too, with the only remaining staff were a dozen or so employees, all unaware of his intentions. And Armani, who felt the strong responsibility to start off the incineration of humanity. And that meant Caldea became an entirely different organization than its founder intended. Yeah. Unfortunately, I get the sense the Mages Association and such are all going to want someone punished in order to prove a point or something, because they don't just because it would look bad for them if they said, well, the person responsible is already dead, so not much we can do. Yeah, they're not going to take that. As dumb as that is. It became a place to preserve not one man's vision for the future, but a future imagined by many different people, and that's never going to change. Not now, not ever. If there's something wrong with us, we'll just fix it with the same courage and wisdom that brought us far. That man said we have an imbalance, right? Then there must be a point in time affected by this discrepancy. Distortions like the singularity. So we're gonna find them, prove our innocence, and then come back to the Antarctic. Forward to starboard, huh? As captain, I have no objections. Besides, I was thinking we could stand to go back to some places we saw standing buildings and resupply. Very well. As I said earlier, I never expected it to be quite this simple. Do as you see fit. I can stick around a little longer. Speaking as an alchemist from Atlas Institute, it hurts to hear we're being treated like criminals because we have been relying on certain kind of weapons. I mean, this would mean half, no, a third of the situation's my fault, correct? So I, of course, have no objections either. Just Magus will continue, and I will continue to help you in your expedition. Well, looks like our goalposts have been moved a little further back than we were expecting. Gee, I wonder why the fan base refers to this filler arc as Ordeal Stall. Can't imagine why. How are you all feeling about this, Master? I'm not about to turn back now. Gotta choose the most, post-action hero decision. Alright, let's start exploring the world. We can think of this as getting all our ducks in a row before a showdown. In fact, everything's worked out as desired, including the opportunity to resupply. That being said, we still have no idea what we'll find out there. We'll have to deal with the imbalances we've racked up over the course of our battles to date, and we'll have to face scrutiny of our mistakes from humanity itself. I hate to borrow that guy's wording, but I can't deny this is a fitting name for our mission. Operation Ordeal Call it is. Once we overcome these new trials, we'll reach our final destination. With the 7 lost belts gone, Caldeus has become the celestial sphere for the preservation of humanity, the very foundation of human history. Because it's all that's left. Novum Caldea is trafficked with far too many things which do not exist within proper human history. Until that imbalance is corrected, we cannot approach Caldeus. It's paramount that we prove our innocence. All the symbols for the lost belts are in the bleached earth. We have no idea what we'll find out here. We must face the distortions that have accumulated over the course of our battles. We must face scrutiny from humanity itself for our mistakes. Vestiges. The classes we encountered should never have existed. Divine Comedy. Ruler, Avenger, and Alter Ego. Destination. Well, matters exist to be settled. 1. An arbiter of discipline and order. A pilgrimage to acknowledge our false sins. 1. An eternal avenger. A flame of love-hate that burns everything. 1. A personality disconnected from the conscious self. A counterpoint to our inner world. Operation Ordeal Call. Overcoming these trials will be our goal. It'll be okay. If we cause this problem, we'll just have to do what we always do. And solve it with our wits and courage. Begins 2025. Nice. Alright. I think I mentioned during Lost Belt 7, but I am genuinely looking forward to the Ordeal Call storylines. Because I think I think Lost Belt 7 came at a point where I was starting to feel a bit of a spectacle fatigue. Since, as mentioned, every previous one basically tried to one-up the previous one as far as spectacle and world threat. And ORT, I'm fine with ORT because it's been one of those that's been built up since basically the series start, and even then we only fought a highly weakened version of it, so it was a pretty big deal. So I'm glad that they're going to pull it back a bit for Ordeal Call here. With that said, I can understand why a lot of people are kind of mixed opinion on it. Not the storylines themselves, but the concept itself, because we're basically interrupting the finale of the Lost Belt storyline to basically cause a filler arc. They did kind of do this with Singularity 1 and by having the Epic of Remnant, but Epic of Remnant came out after the Singularity storyline ended, so that didn't feel nearly as bad. There's also debates as to whether or not the game's going to continue afterward, but I guarantee it is. At worst, they'll just start a part 3. Yeah, at the very least, they'll start a part 3 and at most, they might even just throw more money at the series creator to write some more. I mean, they did it to Sir Arthur Conan Doyle to create more Sherlock Holmes books. They certainly could do the same here. But yeah. Yeah, I fully admit I agree that basically it was a huge cock block that you can't handle, that we complete all the 7 singularities and now have to do something completely unrelated for a little while. But I am looking forward to the stories themselves because I'd like ORT to be the capstone for the spectacle creep for as long as humanly possible, ideally. Because if they just keep saying, oh, ORT was nothing compared to this, that's just silly. It's just getting, it's gonna start getting silly. Not that I don't think it's possible, mind you, just that it gets to be a bit much, you know? But as long as they can, I'm still looking, but you know, like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing what the future brings, and we'll be sure to stream it when it comes. Until next time, thank you for watching, hope you have a good time, and I'll see you later.